Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm filming a very exciting video today. You guys, I'm filming a movie review. I have never ever done a movie review, but I watched this movie yesterday and I loved it so much. It's a Korean medical drama called The Trauma Code Heroes on Call. Oh my god, I loved it so much. In fact, I couldn't stop talking about this movie, and I was like, I have a YouTube channel. I can come here and talk to you guys about this movie. If you're watching me for the first time, hello. I'm a medical doctor and this is a medical series. I don't normally do movie reviews, but I just love this one so much, and since it is related to my field, medicine, I decided to come talk about this movie. Sorry, I'm calling it a movie. You guys, it's a TV series. Talk about this TV series on the channel and let us get into it. Like I said, it is called The Trauma Code. I don't know if you guys have seen it. It is on Netflix. And it's basically about a doctor. He's the main character. His name is Baek Kang Hyuk. Yes, his name is Baek Kang. Sorry, Baek Baek Kang Hyuk. Baek Kang. Oh God, Baek Kang Hyuk. Yes, he was brought in to Hankook National University Hospital to become their new trauma attending. He was brought in by the Minister of Health. So this hospital, their trauma unit is just falling apart. Basically, it's so busy. Nobody wants to work there. There's no staff. In fact, other doctors from other surgical departments take their calls in the trauma units because there's no one that's going to agree to go work in that trauma unit. So the minister brought him, was his first day. He came in all, arrogant because he's so good. A little backstory about his history: he worked with Doctors for International Peace. He didn't graduate from one of the top universities. Then he also worked with a military organization called Black Angels. Yeah, they do some undercover militaries, and he worked as part of their medics, and he was paid a huge sum of money from working with Black Angels. Black Wings. Yes, from working with Black Wings. He was paid a huge sum of money. So him coming here, he did not have any intention to make money. Money was not his priority. He was just a doctor that cared so much about his patients. Like, he was just so selfless. And watching him be so selfless just made me remember the beauty of medicine when we don't have to think about money. So now all the other doctors in the hospital, heads of different departments, director of the hospital, they are also bothered about how much hospital is bringing in, how much each department is spending. And when he came into the hospital, his goal was to revive the trauma unit. In fact, changes from being trauma unit into a trauma center. Let people come in and be able to get help, basically, despite finances, despite money. And when patients come into the hospital, use hospital resources, it is taking a whole lot of money, but that was not important to him. So he had a lot of clash with the admins of the hospital, with staff of other departments as well, because he was just spending and using hospital resources to take care of patients. And you would think that, as doctors, that should be our priority. All of us should care so much about the patients and not about money. But then again, it takes money to actually run a hospital. So it's very important that there's a balance between the spending of the hospital and taking care of the patients. And I think that's one reason why I heard in maybe countries like the US, I heard that they prefer that the management of the hospital are not doctors, because they don't want people to be so passionate leading the hospital that will make the hospital just spend without bringing in profits and money to the hospital. So they like the management of the hospital to be non-doctors, to be people that are business minded. But in this case, he was doctors. So he came in arrogant. So this arrogant Dr. Baek Kang Hyuk came into the hospital And that day, there was a fourth-year resident working. It was a resident in colorectal surgery, and this resident had a mentor. The mentor is the chief of general surgery, and he was also in colorectal surgery as well. So that was his mentor. His plan was to be in colorectal medicine, colorectal surgery, specialized there. The pay was good and everything. But on that day that this new trauma attending resumed, he had to go into theater. Yes, there was an emergency. He didn't even introduce himself. He just went there. A patient came in from an accident. He was having cardiac tamponade. He was stabbed with a knife, and this new trauma attending just walked in there when this colorectal resident was trying to attend to the patient, just pulled out the knife from his chest. And everybody was just screaming like, "What? Who are you? Who do you think you are? You can't do that." Then he managed the patient. He did a cardiosynthesis, pulled out blood from the heart to help the heart beat better. And he just impressed everyone in that moment. Introduced himself, took the man into theater, did surgery and everything. And then alongside, they met a nurse, an ICU nurse, also in the trauma unit as well, who did not know him and was trying to prevent him from getting into the trauma ICU because no one knows any doctor by that name. He was new. He had not introduced himself. So she was fighting with him. And they also formed a relationship. A professional relationship with her as well. So it was him, his intern, and the nurse. Not his intern, the resident, the colorectal resident, and the nurse. But that same day, he realized that he really wanted to work with this colorectal resident. He wanted him to be his protege. And he wanted to take him away from colorectal surgery. And when his mentor heard, the head of general surgery, he was so angry. He was so angry at Baek Kang-hyuk, the trauma attending. He was so angry at him. He was just acting out, and they got into some serious fights. Then they were in a meeting, one setting, they're talking about expenditure of the hospital. And, the director of the hospital told him that, trauma unit, you've been here just 1 month and you have spent more than every other department in this whole hospital. While they were there and accusing him, the head of general surgery, that's the mentor of the doctor in colorectal, stood up and was pointing fingers at him because at this point he had taken his protege away. So he had taken the doctor, his name was J1, from colorectal surgery and made him move into trauma units with him. And so the mentor was so angry and pointing fingers at him and just being angry that day. And then a patient came into the hospital, and that patient was the daughter of that colorectal surgeon. That is the head of general surgery, was his daughter. So while he was there bashing and hitting on this trauma unit attending, a phone call came in, and trauma unit attending picked up the phone call, and he was told that the daughter of that general surgery, chief of general surgery, that was standing up and bashing him was in the trauma unit now, and he needed his help. At the same time, this chief of general surgery got a call, and they were calling him to inform that his daughter had been in the trauma unit. And he was just telling the trauma surgeon that, you can see, look at me, I am not picking my own call. Why do you always think that you can save everybody? Why? Are you more important than me? I am not picking my call. Look, I'm ending my call. And he was ending the call right there. And then the trauma attendant just stood up and was leaving. And then colorectal surgeon got the call again. I picked it up and he was like, what is it? What do you want? And then told him he was his daughter. I was there. He ran out, started begging the trauma attending, begging him, please save my daughter, begging him. In fact, he didn't even want him to do his daughter's surgery because he told him he didn't trust him. He wanted cardiology to come and review the echo and everything. He told him he didn't trust him, but they did the surgery on the daughter, And that was a lot of expense on the hospital. After that experience, he now told the colorectal surgeon, now do you see why the trauma unit spends so much money? Because you cannot tell which patient comes into the hospital. It might be your sister, it might be your mother, anybody, but you cannot be thinking of, oh, money, or how much was spent, and avoid taking care of patients. And at that point, the colorectal surgeon realized that, oh my God, that is so true. It can be anybody. Thanked him for saving his daughter's life. And the whole show just went on. Oh, I also did not tell you that when this trauma unit surgeon stole the colorectal surgeon's protege, he decided to make that protege do calls for the entire trauma unit 247, 365 days a year. Told every other surgical resident not to take calls in the trauma unit, and he was going to take calls every day. So basically, these two doctors, the trauma unit attending and J1, his resident now, were on call 247, 365 days a year. They were always in the hospital. Any emergency, they are handling it. They would sleep, wake up, patients, surgery, in, out. And it was just, watching it was just so emotional. Seeing them give their all to the care of the patient, it was so beautiful to watch. But at the same time, let's come back to reality. First of all, they never showed their lives outside of the hospital because they didn't have one. We didn't know where they lived. We didn't know if they had families, parents, siblings. Nothing. Their whole life was just in the hospital. And that is not real life. In real life, we have families that we have to take care of. We have children. And people cannot just be on call 247, 365 days a year. But seeing them do it, seeing them put patients first was so selfless. It reminded me of, why a lot of us went into medicine in the first place, to help and to serve. And seeing them do it was just it was inspiring. Yes, it was so inspiring. I started to even think of, oh my God, how can I bring this type of impact into my own country? Of course, because of how backwards our healthcare is, there's a lot of opportunities, a lot of ways to bring this type of impact into the healthcare system in Nigeria. But we have our own issues like poor salary, no compensation, no safety, and if the top people are against you, then there will be some challenges. In the movie, like I said, he made a lot of money working for that undercover organization, that military organization, Black Wings. So money was not a problem to him, but in reality, money is a problem to a lot of us working in the profession. But like I said, the movie just reminded me of why we all go into medicine and how in our own little ways as doctors we should try and go all out for our patients in the capacity that we have. Because it can be anybody. It can be your mother, it can be your father, your sister, anybody can be rushed into the hospital. And imagine if the doctor that they meet is someone that does not really care and is not willing to go all out for your sibling. I can imagine being a patient relative and seeing doctors just stand there and not, willing to help or willing to hurry, and your relative just ends up passing on. It's crazy. So, the director of the hospital was so angry at Baek Hyuk. The trauma doctor was so angry at him because he was now trying to get helicopters, trying to spend a lot of money reviving that trauma center. He was so angry at him. And, the whole movie ended, the whole TV show ended around the period whereby he went to sit down with this director and told the director his story, the reason why he decided to become a doctor. And that was because about 24 years prior, his father got into an accident. And the father was taken to so many hospitals, and all these hospitals rejected the father. And the father was finally brought into one final hospital. And in that hospital, there was one doctor that accepted his father, tried his best to manage the father, did his best to ensure that the father survived. And unfortunately, his father died. And it was in that moment that he decided he was going to be a doctor. He decided that he will go all out for his patients. He will do anything possible to ensure that they survive. And he was telling this story to the director. And he told the director that he was that doctor that he saw trying to save his father's life, giving his father everything to ensure that the father survived. Although the father did not survive, but he asked the director that when he saw him that day, he realized that he wanted to be in medicine. But this director had changed. Now, this director was very money focused, money oriented, did not care about patients anymore. And all he cared about was about the money coming into the hospital. It was just beautiful. I don't know if it was just me that, thought about it. But if you have watched that movie, why do I keep calling it movie? If you have watched that TV show, just let me know what you think about it in the comment section. And if you have not watched it, it is a good watch. It's very interesting. The Koreans try to mix seriousness and comedy at the same time, and I really enjoyed watching the TV show. There's a lot of funny things about it. I can't go into the whole show in this moment, but the level of selflessness I saw really motivated me and really just inspired me in my own way. But let me know, are you going to go watch that TV show? I hope I didn't spoil it. There's a lot of things. Even, I feel like for medical shows, you can't really spoil it, because although the show is over, if they decide to continue it, it can just continue. There's no spoiler. There's no beginning, no end, no goal they are trying to attain or anything like that. But let me know your thoughts and your comments about the show in the comment section. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe to my channel, give my video a thumbs up, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye.